First canto, chapter 13. sing text number 57. Sava Adyatana Rajan Parita Pachamehani Kalevaram Hashiti Sham Takchavasmi Bhavishati Savad Ajitana Rajan Parita Pachamehani Kalevaram Hashiti Sham Takchavasmi Bhavishati Savad Ajitana Rajan Parita Pachamehani Kalevaram Hashati Sham Takchavasmi Bhavishati
Savarajatana Rajan Bharata Panchamehani Kalevaram Hashiti Swam Takchavasmi Bhavishyati
Savai Adyatmat Rajan Bharata Panchamehani Kalevaram Hashiti Swam Takchavasmi Bhavishyati
Sava Adyatana Rajan Bharata Panchamehani Kalevaram Hashati Swam Takchavasmi Bhavishyati
I know I'll quit being surprised after a while, but for somebody that just came to the temple, you sure do chant. Ladies?
Sava Adyatana Rajan Bharata Panchamehani Kalevaram Hashyanti Swam Takchavasmi Bhavishyati
Savadyatana Rajan
Bharata
Panchamehani Kalevaram Hasyati Swam Takchavasmi Bhavishyati
Word for word. Sa, he, va, in all probability. Aja, today. Tonight, from Rajan, O King. Parita, ahead. Pachame, on the filth. Ahani, day. Kalevaram, body. Hashati, shall quit. Swam, his own. Ta, that. Cha, also. Bashmi, ashes. Bhavishati, will turn into. Translation, please repeat. O King, he will quit his body. Most probably on the 5th day from today. And his body will turn to ashes. O king, he will quit his body most probably on the 5th day from today, and his body will turn into ashes. Purport by his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. Narada Muni's prophecy prohibited Yudhishthira Maharaj from going to the place where his uncle was staying, because even after quitting the body by his own mystic power, Dhritarashtra would not be in need of any funeral ceremony. Narada Muni indicated that his body by itself would burn to ashes. The perfection of the yoga system is attained by such mystic power. The yogi is able to quit his body by his own choice of time and can attain any planet he desires by turning the present body into ashes by self-made fire. They call it modulation, self-modulation.
Immolation.
Yeah, immolation. So, Srila Prabhupada. Ganatami Vandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshusha Meditami. So, we're continuing the saga of Dhritarashtra quitting home. He's only a few more verses in this chapter. I think it goes to text 60 is the last, so we got 3 more after this. And it's a very instructive aspect. We've been covering a lot of things related to the demise of the body, death, old age, jara, nurture. So our bodies are temporary vessels. No matter how much we identify with them, ash to ash, dust to dust, right? The body is temporary vessel, so no matter what we do, there's no way to preserve it. So when someone leaves their body in a Western culture, of course, they do a big thing. They do the flowers, they lay it out. It's not good for the soul, because the soul has to kind of hover in attachment to the body until you do the cremation. In India, they do, so if you die during the day, they burn it by night. If you die during the night, they burn it by morning. Get it over with. So the soul, hovering in the subtle body is hovering there, attached, and he sees all of his friends and relatives crying, and he's like, oh my God, my son, my wife, my cousin, they all love me, why? And so they hover there and they feel this attachment. It's hellish kind of material arrangement. That's why Vedas give you knowledge how to not suffer so much, how to do it, get it over with, burn the body, get it to ashes. We've seen in India, the crematoriums they're not somewhere where you can't see them. It's right off the street there in Jagannath Puri. The temple's right there, the ISKCON Center. Just 1 block over, there's a courtyard, walls, and in there in the morning, you go and you'll see fire burning all in there. And I thought one morning, oh, I need to go to the beach and chant my japa, and I thought this was a lit path. And I go in and I realize, oh my God, I'm in a crematorium here. So I backed out and went the other way, But then the next day I saw the devotees coming through, chanting with a body wrapped up, going to the crematorium. And you could obviously tell it was someone's father, and they had all his sons and everything there. So that's what Maharaj Yudhishthira was like. Of course, Narada Muni was already aware that Maharaj Yudhishthira would be thinking, I need to go take care of his body, and I need to do my family responsibility. But Narada Muni explained, you don't need to go. There's no need to go. He's just going to burn himself up to ashes by his mystic power, so don't worry about it. So that's the duty of the relatives, is to take care of the body. But the higher principle is to take care of the soul. Because the soul is an eternal living spark and doesn't die with the body. So if you're a family member and someone dies, rather than lamenting, like Krishna says, one should lament neither for the living or the dead. So rather than lamenting and crying and making a big to-do, the thing you do is focus on, how can I help you now? What can I do for you now? How can I help you transmigrate to a higher region rather than being stuck in some material, mundane, karmic blockage? A lot of times the subtle body is the mind, intelligence, and false ego, and that's what carries our desires with it. So whatever we're desiring at the time of death, to that state we will attain without fail. So whatever you're wanting, So many times, if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam in the chapter where Narada Muni instructs King Prachinavarhi about, is it Bhargishman? About Puranjan. See, Puranjan's an allegorical figure. He doesn't really exist, but Narada Muni didn't want to just, tell the king, this is what's going to happen to you. He said, let me tell you what happened to one king one time. And so he began this narration about King Puranjan. And King Puranjan, everything was done allegorically. Like there was a king, and then he was looking for some happiness, and he was not finding it, and he wandered into this kingdom. And in this kingdom, there was this beautiful lady there, and he became so attracted to her, and she was being followed by these different servants, and they were all allegorical, the senses and all these different things, the life force and stuff. All of these things were indemnified in an allegorical way that Narada Muni was explaining. It's a little bit too complicated for my memory to give every detail about what was what, but I know that the serpent was the life force. And so there was a big serpent protecting the city. So King Puranjan, he went up to the maiden, who the maiden was his, I think it turned out that the maiden was his, was super soul. But anyway, it gets complicated, but he gets attached to this allegorical king. Puranjan gets attached to this woman, and she's attached to him. So they have a really beautiful kingdom in which they're, enjoying so much, and they don't ever get separated for 1 second. The king's always Puranjan's always meditating on his wife, and his wife is like, just really attached to him. And so, but then King Puranjan decided he listened to some other kings. All these things were allegorical, Maya in different ways, but the king, allegorically, in the story, became attached to hunting. Prabhupada pointed out that is the soul's desire to enjoy other women other than his wife. So he was thinking, in the hunting allegory, was actually, the king enjoying other women instead of focusing on his wife at home in devotion and worshiping Krishna. He was thinking about going to enjoy different women. So he said he went to the forest to hunt. And so in doing so, he created so many sins by killing all these allegorical animals, and each one of these sins is done very expertly by Narada Muni to give King Prachinavarhi the understanding that you're going to, this is sinful activity you're performing. And so it goes through where gradually the queen didn't like the king out hunting, and she became very sad, and then it goes through a whole, withdrawal where he starts, coming and again trying to get her to be happy with him, and it's all very nicely done. But what it brings to the point to where the king, Puranjan, started, his kingdom was invaded by old age. The old age is also allegorically identified, and it's a very interesting point in there where Prabhupada talks about old age. He explains all this old age and sinful activities. I know Sin, she had a hard time finding a husband. Nobody wanted to marry her. So I think she married fear. It's old age and fear. And they couple together, and that's what happens in this allegory, that they marry, and then so it's all explained. The point is it's bringing King Prachinavarhi to the point where he realizes that he started growing old, and the serpent that was protecting the city got weak, and then the city was hit from the north side, the south side, all the different aspects of the king's defense mechanism. His body was deteriorating. So eventually the serpent is just like captured, and the king is captured. So he basically has to leave his body. So, but then it doesn't just quit when the king leaves his body. Narada Muni takes it to the next level where he says, then the king, because he was so attached to his wife, he became a woman. But not an ordinary woman, he became the wife, the daughter of a king, and she actually married a great devotee. And so it actually has a happy ending to it. It actually reaches where the soul then, by meditating on her saintly husband, she goes to the forest when he decides to go and basically end up his life journey and go back home back together. She accompanied him. And then as the fire went, she's sitting there all alone. And then the sage appeared, who was actually super soul, and explained, you've been looking for me forever. I've always been there. I've always been your friend. But you were never ready for me. And now your desires have brought you to me. So now I'm ready to give you perfection. So it was like he did all that. And then so the king, Prachinabhaya, he realizes, oh my God, what am I doing? So he was, his children were the Prachetas. And the Prachetas were, there's 100 of them, right? 100 Prachetas. They were in the water. They had been in the water for 10,000 years. And they were meditating on a song given them by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva came to them, and they met Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva gave them this beautiful prayer. By reciting this prayer in the morning, one can actually go back home back to Godhead. You can become free from all material anxiety just by singing this prayer. Reciting this prayer, telling others about this prayer, remembering this prayer, one can actually go back home back to God. It's a beautiful, beautiful prayer. And so the Prachetas, they sang this prayer for 10,000 years in the water after they had seen Lord Shiva. Talks a lot about Lord Shiva in there too, about his devotion, Sambhu, like we sometimes don't fully understand what a great devotee Lord Shiva is, but it explains so nicely in there about Lord Shiva. And so, at any rate, the Prachetas were in the water, and they had been meditating on the Lord, beautiful prayers for 10,000 years, but the king said, I'm not going to wait for them to come out of the water and come back. So he just gave some instructions to his minister and said, when they come back, tell them to do this. And so he left, and he went at the end of his life to pursue self-realization. So the whole King Karanjan analogy brought to fruition was that the king realized that this body's temporary, and if we engage in too many sinful activities, we become ensnared, and then our body gradually weakens and we die, and we end up having to take a birth in a very difficult situation again. And that's karma, that's how it works. We know it's how it works, but somehow or another we, as conditioned souls, we think, well, it doesn't apply to me. that's other people, right? Mine, even though Maharaj Yudhisthira, when he met Lord Yamaraj in the form of an ethereal voice, Lord Yamaraj was asking everyone, what is the most wonderful thing? And so each one of them had different, all the Pandavas were answering the question. They all had different answers, about what they thought was the most wonderful thing, but they were all wrong, and so they all had to die because they had drank of this water. Yamaraj, it was a pastime, so he brought them back to life later. But Maharaj Yudhisthira came, and he asked Maharaj Yudhisthira, what's the most wonderful thing? Maharaj Yudhisthira said, the most wonderful thing is that even though everyone else is dying, my relatives, my uncles, my aunts, my cousins, the guy next door, my best friend, even though they're all dying, it's not going to happen to me. It's the most wonderful thing. Even though we see everyone else dying, somehow we're thinking it won't happen to me. That's Maya. That's how Maya works. Maya is very potent. Maya, I always say it's almost unfair because she knows inside what's going on. She understands you from inside. So your desires, you can't hide from her, so she knows your weaknesses. So you can pretend externally and people won't know your real weaknesses. But Maya, knowing your real weaknesses, will find that little spot, that little opening, and she will hit you with it. Sometimes I wonder, how in the world does she know that weakness is there? It's like I thought I forgot about that. What is this? Why is this, leave me alone, But Maya doesn't leave you alone. Why? Because she wants to help you. She is actually telling us the same thing that Narada Muni is telling us. This body's temporary, you are going to grow old, you are going to die. So in this case, we see Dhritarashtra finally reached the point where he left his body, but by the mercy of Vidura, he got a break, right? So we're also getting a break by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and this Hare Krishna movement. Because before Srila Prabhupada came, no one here knew who God was. No one here knew who God was. You can lay it any way you want, but there was no one on this North American continent that knew who God was. They had some concept of God the Father, you know, etc. But no one knew. And so when Prabhupada came, they asked him, "Why have you come? We have so many religions here." And Prabhupada said, "I've come to teach you what you have forgot." We forgot who Krishna is. It's a fact. We didn't know who Krishna was. I had no idea who Krishna was. It took me most of my life to one day wake up and realize, I think Krishna might be God. Didn't it? I mean, do we really know what we're doing here? Do we really realize Sri Bhagavan is here? And we know, our journey is over. We have reached the destination. Right? Like they do on that MapQuest thing, when you get this, and you have reached your destination. So we have reached our destination. One time somebody came to the herb class and they were lost, and they went down the road and they pulled in that field beside where Roy Juanitas used to be, and there were a bunch of cows in there, and they pulled all the cows were standing around them, and that thing said, "You have reached your destination." So, our real destination is not all the diversions that even the mystic powers and speculative knowledge where we can, attain to higher regions, heavenly regions, or become one with, or even super soul realization. All those things are still not quite there. So what is there? Is when we actually, as you and I have a friendship and a loving relationship, when we actually have that loving reciprocation relationship with Krishna. Krishna is a person. Krishna loves us. Krishna wants us to have a relationship with him. So how do you do it? The Archa expansion is recommended very much by Srila Prabhupada. To worship the deity in the morning, the way the devotees do here, that's very much recommended for developing love of God. Because if you try to love someone, it's hard unless you see them, unless you associate with them, unless you kind of let them grow on you, right? And sometimes, people may not be the most beautiful person in the world, but when you get to know them, it's kind of crude, but there's one poster I saw, and there was this old lady sitting at the bar. She had warts and a long nose, real ugly, and she said, "Come closing time, I'll look a lot better." So in the material world, when you first meet someone, they may not be attractive, but when you start to talk to them, you see their qualities, you hear their goodness, and you understand their inspiration, you may find them attractive. It's just nature that as we associate with someone, we become attracted to them. So by associating with Krishna, Prabhupada emphasized that this process that we do, it's all about one thing. It's always like when he was going to incorporate this movement, they said, "Why don't you name it the International Society for God Consciousness?" Prabhupada said, "No. It's the International Society for Krishna Consciousness." Because Krishna is what we've forgotten. We all, everybody's got some concept of God, the Almighty Father, But who is that all-attractive, lotus-eyed Lord playing on a flute in a forest in Vrindavan?
Krishna.
That's Krishna. That's who it is. Now, can he personally interact with us? Yes. He is that super soul within our heart. But what does he require? He requires simple, honest sincerity. Honesty, Prabhupada used to say. Simple honesty. We cannot pretend, hey, I want to worship Krishna, but then actually we still have the, jnana and personalism. We want to merge, or we want to become like some big scholar that people walk around behind, Prabhupada emphasizes simple Brijvasis in Vrindavan. That mood, like when Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan, for one reason, he wanted Uddhava to see the actual love of the gopis. See, we don't understand, because when you talk about gopis, everybody gets like, nervous. This is, you don't go there, too elite, too erudite subject matter. But, the truth is, we do always interact with this Gopi Baba because we always worship Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani epitomizes that loving reciprocation with Krishna, total devotion. It's not mundane. It's not like this material world where we're attached to. If we can break that, separate that thing in our heart that keeps us contaminated, that we can't really appreciate the loving reciprocation between the gopis and Krishna. It's hard because that's lust, and that's what bounds us this world. That's why we've been here for so long. But sometimes if you get a glimpse of the loving ecstasy that the gopis feel for Krishna, it makes everything all right. And so Prabhupada gives us some nice examples, like the rasa dance. When they danced in the rasa dance, it was like a day of Brahma, if I understand, a night of Brahma, whatever. And it was lasting for a very long time, but each gopi thought that Krishna was dancing with her alone. He was. But also he was dancing with everybody else at the same time. So many pastimes Prabhupada gave us about the gopis and Krishna book. And it's so transcendental. And so what we have to do, Prabhupada used to say, if you're feeling lusty, you meditate on Krishna and the gopis. Because why? Because it's free from lust. It's free from kama. It's all pure prema, pure love, bhava. It's beyond our comprehension at this stage, but at least we can start to get an understanding of that's what makes love of God so wonderful. It's not all about, daily bread, save me from my sins, all that blah, blah, blah. It's about a state of ecstatic love in which the soul thinks of Krishna every second. Every second is ecstatic bliss. Every morning when you come to worship Krishna, you're in ecstasy. You're in ecstasy. So when does it start? It starts when we come. Fallen as I am, I can tell you honestly, when I'm somehow or another, by Krishna's grace or Ravindra's mercy, I'm coming a little bit to Mongol Artik, and now when you're there in that Mongol Artik, you start to get the mood. Oh, so Krishna's day starts early. And Krishna's day starts early. In Vrindavan, Krishna's day starts early. When you're in Vrindavan, what do you hear all the time?
Bells.
Huh?
Bells.
What?
Bells.
Radhe, Radhe! And the walla, from the flower walla, from the bicycle walla, from the milk walla, whatever. Radhe, Radhe! Radhe, Radhe! Radhe, Radhe! So this mood, this is New Talavana. New Talavana is Vrindavan. Same mood. So here we have the most beautiful Shishi Radha Radhikanta. No, where's Krishna going to be? Where's Radharani going to be? Where Krishna's loving Radharani. It's not, where he is worshipping Rukmini. Even though there's no problem with that. I'm just trying to be funny. But the point being is that Srimati Radharani, in Vrindavan, she's the queen of Vrindavan. And she has her kitchen there in Varshan, right? So you go there. But in the morning, in the real spiritual world in the morning, Radharani comes to cook in Mother Yasoda's kitchen. And who's the head cook? Mother Rohini. Yeah. Right? Rohini's like running the show. Mother Yasoda's there. Radharani comes with all the Shaktis to cook for Krishna in the morning, every morning. First, someone asks her, of course. Krishna's Mother Yasoda wanted to know if you would come cook for Krishna today. Even though she's done it for eternity, every day. Yeah. Would you come cook? Oh, yes. I'd love to cook for Krishna. Oh, so everybody, let's go. It's not like, there's no, obligation. It's a state of ecstatic bhava, attraction to cooking for Krishna. So when they go in the kitchen, what do they cook? thousands of preparations. Thousands of preparations, exotic preparations with every kind of imaginary spice, and everything's done, and it's a festival. Each one of them has their division where they're cooking, and they're all divided up, and they're all just cooking all the time, chanting, Radhe, Radhe, Krishna, Krishna, always. And they're in this ecstatic bliss. There's no disharmony, no sense of anything lacking, no sense of temporary nature or anything, just ecstatic love. That's the perfection of devotion to God. That's it. That's what it is. It's not anything weird or scary. It's not. It's a village cowherd family with the supreme absolute truth who's so attractive. Of course, some may say, well, I like it when he goes out and kills the demons. They may not be in the mood of always, but they're really there when it comes to, Krishna coming to kill some demons. Of course, in the spiritual world, they don't have demons. So I asked the Krishna Maharaj, what do they do? He said, they pretend. So, it all goes on every day, and every time it's ever fresh. It's not like you said, did we do this yesterday? It doesn't have any time, has no factor in this regard. It's like we're doing it now, like the be here now, it is really be here now. Every second is be here. Why? Because every second is an ecstatic moment of being there with Krishna. Krishna is the center. Krishna is always the center. Radharani is in ecstasy. Why? Because she's meditating on Krishna. Krishna's in ecstasy. Why? Because he's meditating on Radharani. They're seeing each other, and everybody's in ecstasy because they're assisting them. So how can this be? How can we not be attracted to this? What is there that would stop us? Lust, only lust. It's only lust. It's a curse. And this curse of lust comes with the contact with modes of material nature. So why did Prabhupada come in this expert genius fashion, create this system? Because if we do it every day, one day, we're not just dancing in front of the deities. Right? I'm not making this up. One day, we're in Vrindavan. We're there. You think it's not possible? Am I grandiose? Am I trying to be, sahaja or something? No. It's a fact. It's a scientific fact. If we do it, one day, we're not doing it on this plane. We're doing it on another plane. And it's a gradual thing. Like Dr. Maharaj one time said, he said, it might not be a good example, but he said, somebody, when they drill in your tooth, the dentist, you hit a nerve and you jump, He says, so every now and then we get a little taste of this Krishna consciousness, and that's what keeps us going. And we've all had it. We've all had our moments. And I'm honestly telling you right now, I'm having one of those moments. I'm having those moments more and more. Why? Because I got off my lazy butt. No matter how bad I felt, I came here in the morning and I started doing the little Swami shuffle. And Bhikshaya singing samsara, and I'm thinking, wow, the spiritual master's coming. He's decorating the temple. He's worshiping Lord Chaitanya. He's offering 4 kinds of food stuff. Huh? Some that are chewed, some that are soft, some that are liquid. And that's Prabhupada every day. Prabhupada doing that. So we move. It's simple. It's called Mangalarti. And we forget it. Why? Because our senses and our minds start thinking, I don't need to do that. I'm a this or I'm a that. We get caught up. I stayed up too late. I worked too hard. Whatever we think. And so what happens is we circumvent the opportunity that's being given to us because somehow the mind finds some reason to avoid it. It doesn't make sense on a practical level, but the mind has this whole litany of things that they found, right? This morning we had like 15 people or something. It was pretty packed. And every time we do it, you realize that the real nectar of the spiritual world goes on in those intimate moments. In those early intimate moments, that's when Srimati Radharani showers her blessings. And then greeting the deities, it just makes it a whole nother mood. So we're wanting to get to the spiritual world. So we wonder, how can I do it? I'm telling you, I don't know about you, but sometimes chanting Hare Krishna for me is a struggle. It's hard. I mean, I'm trying to chant, but I can't. My head's hurting, I'm feeling bad, I'm trying my best to chant. And some days I chant and I'm like walking around thinking I'm Narada Muni, right? I'm thinking, boy, if everybody knew how advanced I was. And then the next day it's like, God, why can't I even chant? What's wrong with me? And it's just, that's a hard mantra meditation, silent meditation like that on our own is hard. But when you're standing in front of the deities and someone's playing the mridanga and someone's chanting, it's hard not to kind of like get into it a little bit. We've had some kirtans here, and the kirtan lila is Lord Chaitanya's lila. And Lord Chaitanya's lila is the secret in this age of Kali to get Krishna lila and Vrindavan. We get both. Japa Maharaj said, we not only get the mood of Lord Chaitanya, we get the mood of Radha Krishna. So we get both. The ecstatic separation that Lord Chaitanya identified in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the devotee, and then also the mood of Vrindavan with Radha and Krishna, dancing on Kaliya's heads. That's why he does it. You ask, why does Krishna come and do all these things? He said about that. Prabhupada said, so we can talk about it. Every day, Prabhupada said 24 hours a day we should be talking about Krishna. We should be remembering Krishna. I'm very fortunate because it's very unlikely that I would have ever become associated with such a transcendental spiritual energy had I not just been just a OCD person or something. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't quit reading. And I read a Krishna book for like a year straight, not knowing any idea that this was God or a Krishna movement or there were devotees or anything. I thought sweetmeats was some Jewish meat that you ate or something. I did. I was so burned out. I'm not lying to you. Y'all would not even talk to me if you knew I was a babbling idiot. I had put so much nonsense in my body. I didn't know what was going on, but I liked that Krishna book. It was something about that Krishna book. It smelled. The fragrance attracted me. And then to read about Krishna, I didn't know I was reading about yoga or God or something. I couldn't quit reading it. So when I came to the temple, we sat down and they said, what are you doing? I said, I've been reading about Mother Yasoda and Krishna stole the butter. What? I said, I just love these stories, And then start talking, I tell them, I remember Lord Brahma came and he had offended, it's like, and men and I say, how do you know all this stuff? I said, I don't know, I just sat down every day, wherever I would go, I'd carry my Krishna book with me. And I was in school, I never studied or anything, I would just go to class, but I always carried my Krishna book around with me everywhere I went. And I'd go off on the weekend, I just keep, every day, I just keep reading it. So Prabhupada actually came and he put this Krishna book out there, and people who were not qualified, because we became attracted to Krishna by not knowing what we were doing, but we just heard about Krishna, and as we heard about Krishna, we started changing, and our soul, our nature started changing. It took me a long time. Joe Ginder can tell you there's many a time where they thought, well, he's gone, he's finished. I'm serious. There were many times I never thought I'd be a devotee. It's sad, but yet it's also very reassuring to know that this attraction to Krishna never stops. It doesn't let go. It increases. That's the secret of Krishna consciousness. How are you going to get out of this material world? We've been here for millions of lifetimes. We are going to go back home, back to Godhead. How? Because we are addicted to hearing about Krishna. We're addicted to associating with those who are chanting Krishna's names. We're addicted to honoring prasadam. We're addicted to developing new Talavana. Maharani, you know, she can't even sleep at night looking at the guest house. She said, you put it right by my window, so I'm looking out. I can't even sleep. I'm thinking, I want to build this so much. You see her standing in front of Srimad Radharani begging, please. Why? She's addicted to developing new Talavana. Why? Because she's a Bridge Basi. She's a new Talavan Basi. It's okay to be sold out to New Taliban. New Taliban is a spiritual manifestation of Krishna. This is a spiritual world. We can sell out to New Taliban. You can die here in the dust of the Holy Dhamma and go back home like you got it. It's a fact. Prabhupada said it when he was here. He said, I'm not flattering you. Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita. So there we are. We have it. We have the opportunity. So, you know, I'm the worst example in the universe, but I am a poster child for the soul who, you know, couldn't get away. You know, there's no way. There's no way for me to get away. I couldn't get away. I tried everything, you know. And, you know, I could tell you some stories and you wouldn't believe it, you know, but I could not escape the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that bodes well for those other souls who are not so low, so depraved in the material world. It bodes well for those souls who are coming now, who are hearing about Lord Chaitanya. So we have to become really, really eager to preach about Krishna. We have to get these books out there. I've been thinking I want to go to start doing something at the university with a Krishna book out myself in my health. I'm thinking, I wonder how it will happen if I get out there, how my health's going to be. I'm a little nervous. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking, boy, wouldn't it be nice to get somebody a Krishna book and then let them later become a devotee like I did? I'm just saying, I didn't have qualifications, but I had a book and I became a devotee. So what if I got a book out there and somebody becomes a devotee and they get to go back home back to Godhead? So that's the mood of distributing books. Prabhupada had that when he always said, distribute my books, because he knew that if you get those books out there, people will come. So now we even have a nice business card. We just have to put in there, Yogesh made some nice cards for the temple. We're just going, so I'm definitely going to make, I was thinking I'm going to take our speaker with me. We just go and we just do it. It's not hard. The University of Southern Miss got done before. So we can distribute some Krishna books, and then see, we got to get some new blood coming anyway, you know. Can't just have all our grandkids come. We got to go. We got to form out there and bring other people in. Any questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
You were talking about how Radha would come every day to cook for Krishna, and once we were at Vrindakund, it was Dinabandhu Prabhu, and he told the story of how that came to be. He said that once Radharani, when she was just a little girl, and she and the other little gopikas, they were playing that they were cooking, so they had mud, and they were making with mud the plate and the thalis and the sabji and the sweets and all. And Durvasa Muni came along, and he was watching, and he was enchanted by this. And when the other little girls saw him, they ran away because he's sadhu, he's a little like scary looking. But Srimati Radharani, she said, "Come, Baba, sit down." And so he sat down, and she started to feed him the preparations that she'd made from mud. And she put a mud laddu in his mouth, and it was just like, like the most amazing, delicious nectarian thing he'd ever tasted. So then he gave her the benediction, not that she needed it, but for the sake of the Leela, that whatever she cooked would be unbelievably nectarian, and whoever ate that would live long and happily.
Exactly.
And so Madhya Soda, she arranged that every day Radharani would come to cook for Krishna.
Yes. I've often wondered,
except for when
what it
she
must be
was-
like to be Dinabandhu.
Well,
You know? I mean, he's just all the time just telling us, I just wonder how he's able to just maintain, you know, but he's ecstatic.
but what's interesting is he struggles too.
Huh?
He struggles too.
Huh?
He struggles with the material life.
Huh?
And you
You
know,
know, he has
that's what's so
gout.
beautiful about him, because he's struggling so hard for Prabhupada and for Krishna, you know.
Do you have something for gout? Because he is chronically bothered.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, if he was here, I could take
We
him.
were doing Govardhan Parikram 8 years ago.
Huh?
And I said, Prabhu, you must do this in your sleep. You've done this so many times. He said, Ushaya, every time I try before I go to Govardhan, I pray to Krishna that I'll have strength to make it.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's amazingly surrendered,
Yes.
and he's so humble. So humble.
He must have his moment.
Can I ask the question and comment?
Certainly.
That section about King Karanjana, and they describe the snake.
Yes.
So cool. The snake guards the jiva at night, and when the jiva is asleep, when he's unconscious, the
It's a
snake,
life force.
the life force, which is the pranayama.
Yes.
It's just the snake is you'll see it in caduceus, you'll see it representing the protection of the soul, which is the staff of life. So it was so nicely written and so nicely explained in the Bhagavatam how the snake maintains watch over the jiva.
Yes.
Because at night, the jiva is defenseless.
Yes.
All his gates are open,
Yes.
and that life here could escape, but the snake keeps it there. Number two, talking about giraffe. It's described also in that section. Old lady giraffe is knocking on your door, and you know she's outside, and she's knocking, but you don't want to answer. So giraffe, she knocks on the door of the living entity, and the living entity doesn't really want to let her in, because that means automatic suffering. My question is, Maishtadeva is Sitaram. What about if I have no attraction for Braj? What about if I'm attracted to Krishna and Dwarka? Or, better yet, I'm attracted to the pastimes and the affairs of Sita and Ramachandra.
I mean, that's.
So does that mean I'm not going to go back to Godhead?
Well,
I don't know.
You know the answer to that. I mean,
No, I'm asking a
you're just
question.
asking for posing a question. You obviously know that. You obviously know that answer, but it's, of course, we all know that any Leela, I mean, you could go to
Yeah.
Vrahaloka. Huh? Vrahaloka is beautiful. You understand? Vrahaloka is one of the most, he's so beautiful. When you see Lord Vraha, he's so beautiful. He's so attractive. When he shakes his head like this, it's like ecstatic. You know, this water comes and the Demigods are seeing the beautiful mane and hair, and they're like, how beautiful. They're enthralled with Lord Radha. So any expansion of Krishna, anyone, is, we all develop. I mean, there are devotees of all expansions of Krishna that will, of course, manifest in the eternal reality. But the original source of all is Radha and Krishna, and I don't know how to express anything other than that mood that Srila Prabhupada has taught us of, Vrindavan, Leela. But I understand what you're saying. Of course, that's absolute. There's no, it's not like there's only one Krishna, there's only one expansion. Matter of fact, there's so many expansions of Krishna that Ananta, you know what the word Ananta means? Unlimited. Ananta says unlimited, and he's always chanting Krishna's names to try to, all the different, and he can't keep up with them. So, amazingly number of incarnations in any one of them. It's just that the truth is, it's there that the highest level of Krishna Baba does exist in Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. So we know that. There's no, I mean, we may not even really truly, I don't know how it manifests, but it's the most attractive. And for us, and followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, you know, that's how we're trained about Krishna. Does it mean there used to be something else? Maybe, I don't know. But I know now that we have the chance to become attracted to Krishna, and Lord Ram is we chant Lord Ram's name too, so somebody may become Ram Bhakta. But, I mean, we have those cases where Ramanuja, there was a case where somebody was Ram Bhakta, and Lord Chaitanya Leela too. There's cases where people were, Lord Chaitanya would not influence them, he would test them in some way, and he would see their allegiance to Lord Ram. So.
Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta was Ram Bhakta. Murari Gupta?
Murari Gupta, yeah, the physician.
We have a question.
Huh?
Not a question, it's about this very thing. I had the same question once a long time ago, and I've shared it here, but everybody's not always the same person in class. And I had a phase where whenever I read about Vaikuntha, it seemed so, because, you knew you go through phases, and Vaikuntha seemed really, really wonderful. And so I asked a question. I said, what if, Prabhupada's talking about Radha and Krishna, and Prabhupada's going to, it's kind of the spiritual world and everything. What if I die when I'm in this phase of being attached to hearing about Vaikuntha? Will I be forever separated from Prabhupada? And will I be stuck there? And Sri Krishna Maharaj said, I wish I had that problem, that my devotees got stuck in Vaikuntha. But he said then that there is mobility in the spiritual world. And so you can go in the spiritual world wherever you want to go. So if you go to some place like Ayodhya in the spiritual world, and later on you understand that I want something even higher, you can go there. Yeah, so it's all that you can go anywhere.
Or even just different. It's not higher or lower, actually, they're all eternally. It's
there's
equal, there's no
mobility.
higher or low. But in Vaikuntha, you can also come back to the material world. Prabhupada says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the chapter where Krishna returns, you can also come back. He said you're limited. In Vaikuntha, you can travel anywhere, but if you want to come to the material world, he said you're limited.
Are you sure we got to die? I thought that's why Bhushaya was doing that thing on Friday night.
So what happened?
I said, you sure we had to die? I thought Bhushaya was doing that thing on Friday night to rescue it.
Or the first
From what?
CPR.
From death.
CPR.
We never die.
True.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
We never die. That's a fact. We never die.
So it's just a combination of Prabhupada and Bhushaya.
It's all, believe me, 100%. It all begins with Srila Prabhupada's mercy on us all.
But I think just to wrap that up, because that is an important question, and we know the sweetest part of the pie is Madhurya Leela, Gopi Baba, okay? And we know that. And Prabhupada said throughout his books that this is in the mood of Vrindavan, that we're following Radha Krishna, we're following Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, we're following Lord Chaitanya's movement. Who is Radha Krishna himself? He is Radha Krishna himself, manifest. And this is the mood of Vrindavan. And this is the sweetest perfection that we can follow. So I understand that.
Especially New Talavana, because this has been died. Vrindavan.
Yeah.
We've been given that benediction more than once. It's
Right.
Vrindavan. So the mood we're in, cowherd boys, Krishna's, I'm just saying, he's most attractive. Simple living, it's a simple life in Vrindavan, but it's very sweet, and it's all centered around, like when the cowherd boys go out with Krishna every day, they go out and the cows, they're having a party going out, and when they get there, the cows are grazing in the grass. Every time they eat it, the grass regrows immediately. It's succulent, beautiful grass. Every time they take a bite, it regrows immediately. They take another bite, it regrows. So there's a whole symphony of a festival of ecstasy in every aspect of Vrindavan. It's not just, say our minds are what's the problem, because our mind is so screwed up.
So is Langa Ganesh going to be able to do any permaculture there?
Yeah. Langa Ganesh would fit right in. I guarantee you he would fit right in, because permaculture would come as his servant. Here you've got to try to figure it all out and do it all. There it would come, it all would just happen by your desire. And so that's the wonderful thing. It's amazing things that you can be a blade of grass in Vrindavan and be in the highest ecstasy. we're thinking only humans or something, but you can be a blade of grass, a cow. Once one man made an article about Srila Prabhupada in the paper, and he said that the Swami may want to be a cow, like that, you know, trying to make fun of Prabhupada. And when he read it to Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, yeah, to be Krishna's cow is very nice. I mean, he's seeing to be Krishna's cow is very nice. And, you know, there you are, you're a calf in Vrindavan, you know, Krishna's grabbing hold of your tail and running around in ecstasy. You're not thinking, you know, how long is this going to last? It's all about every second is an ecstatic mood. That's spiritual life. It really is real. It's just very difficult for us to contrast with our present circumstances and then superimpose ourselves there. But we have to just gradually allow ourselves the freedom to start to wake up to the fact that if we stay in this process that Prabhupada gave us, never stop, and then eventually we will get to that spiritual world. We are from that spiritual world. We can be in that spiritual world. We should be in that spiritual world. But the question is one of desire only. And you may look at someone like Prabhupada and say, don't be surprised who leaves. Be surprised who stays. I doubt that they would have given me a very high, you know, percentage of being here at this juncture. So, by Krishna's grace, somehow or another, you know, we stay in this movement, and eventually, if we keep chanting, we keep trying, you know, even more than one lifetime is not the end. So okay, I took another life, but birth after birth, that's this, our birth after birth. So we become very attached to Srila Prabhupada, we become very attached to this movement. Then when we leave our body, come back in a stika or something, you know, so. Come back in a birth in a holy dham, and, you know, knowledge well is easy for people like that, because Lord Chaitanya to them is, you know, like Christopher Columbus to us or something, you know. I think they know Lord Chaitanya from birth, and so it's like, yeah, this is natural for them. So, why? Because he practiced before, you know, it's just, we get there. Why do you think Indra Maharaj just woke up one day and became ecstatic? When Jagataka Maharaj, Prabhupada said he's an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya. And Maharaj said, oh, Prabhupada said, no, I'm serious. I'm telling you, you're an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya. He said it like that. He said, I'm serious. So these associates of Lord Chaitanya, they come, and to us, we just think, oh, they're just this or this. We don't see who they are, where they're coming from. But we also can become associates. We just have to stick it out. Don't give it up. Just keep chanting. Keep hope against hope. That's Srila Prabhupada.